Evening, we have one more person to come up to pitch. Want to make sure everybody's still with us, everyone's still engaged, for Mr. Johnny Epps of Odyssey Chocolate.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? No? Good. There we go. Thank you. So my name is Johnny Epps, and I'm the owner and founder of Odyssey Chocolate. So Odyssey Chocolate is what's called a bean-to-bar craft chocolate maker. Now, what bean-to-bar craft chocolate essentially means, in a nutshell, is we import cacao beans from little small farms and collectives all over the world, from places like Peru, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Colombia, Hawaii, Tanzania, Vietnam, the list goes on. And they all taste really different depending on where they come from. Bean-to-bar is sort of a new emergent industry within the US. There's about 300 to 400 bean-to-bar companies in the US, and there's some in Canada, some in Europe. The movement started around 15 years ago, really small. Most of the players within the bean-to-bar industry are also really small, like myself, but I look to grow. Let's go to the next slide there. So these are some examples of some bean-to-bar chocolate factories around the world. So on the right side there, you see the Zotter chocolate factory. That's in Austria. Matter of fact, that's in rural Austria. And Zotter does about 50 tons of cacao per year to make their chocolate, which is a lot of chocolate. And 47% of Zotter's sales are all in-house in rural Austria. So all these people make a pilgrimage out to the Zotter chocolate factory to have the experience that they're able to offer there. Because that's the thing with these chocolate factories. They're extremely experiential. So you come in and you smell the smells of roasting cacao beans. You could take factory tours, learn how chocolate is made, have tasting experiences. And matter of fact, I should invite the judges now to try the chocolate that I've made you wait all this time to try. You'll notice on the plate that there's different country names, so be careful picking them up so that you can know which one you're trying. And I recommend that you try the one in the middle called the Monster Bar very last. So what you've got on that plate there, those are single origin, 2-ingredient chocolate bars for everything except for the one in the center. So we import the cacao beans from these different countries, roast them, dehusk them, grind them, all that stuff. And the only one that has 4 ingredients, extra cocoa butter and vanilla, is the Monster Bar in the middle. So what I want you guys to keep in mind as you try those is, can you taste the differences between the different origins? So back to the slide here. You've got Manoa Chocolate Factory in the top left and the French Broad Chocolate Lounge in Asheville, North Carolina on the bottom left. These places tend to become major staples within their communities. People will travel just to come to the chocolate factory. The chocolate factory tends to bring a lot of commerce to the businesses around them. And really, it's a great time, and it's really hard to describe. Actually, there's a gentleman in the back there with his mom, I think, and they tried some of the chocolate earlier. And at first, I said, "You guys want some chocolate?" And they said, "No." And then they tried them, and then they ended up eating all of them. He said, it's amazing, that you can taste the difference between these. And he said he's never had anything quite like that before. And at the farmers markets where we sell, this is a regular experience, that we're giving people an experience they've never had in their entire lives. So going to the next slide here, this is how I'm doing it now. So I do everything. I run the business out of my 1-bedroom apartment. I started in January 2020 with basically nothing. I think I had a few $1,000s in the bank account, and the rest went on the credit cards. I was ready to go, and I started full time from the start. I got a carrot and a stick situation, so I was go, 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 go. 2020 was not exactly the best year to start a new business. I started in January 2020, didn't know what I was about to be in for, but I kept going and started getting my first couple of wholesale accounts in 2020. It was a lot of people recommending me, so I'd get a call from somebody like, "Hey, somebody said that we should carry your chocolate," which is a great way to get wholesale accounts where they just come to you. So that's been pretty great. You can see on the pictures here, we've got the beans. There's a winnower on the bottom left. I built that myself. You've got the grinders on the top. Those are the grandstand melangers that grind the chocolate for 3 days straight. And there's some bags of beans on the bottom right there. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. So I know not all of you are getting the chance to taste the chocolate tonight. I do have a little bit though, so come and see me after if you want to try some. But if you look at the bottom left of one of our chocolate bars there, that bar actually won a international level award from the Academy of Chocolate in London. So we sent the bars all the way to London in the UK. They were judged by a panel of chocolate sommeliers, and we got our silver medal winning chocolate bar. So not only are, thank you. So not only are our bars recognized in DC, in New York City, in Texas, and locally, of course, but they're also recognized in London, in Australia, and Singapore, where people have been buying my chocolate on our website. So what have we been doing? What have we been doing for 3.5 years? So in 2021, it was all just me still. I was hustling like crazy because, again, I did the carrot and the stick. I had all kinds of debt from where I bought my little machinery and my amount of beans, and I couldn't really afford to hire employees yet because my machines were hobbyist machines. You know, I'd write on the chocolate blog forums asking for advice, and then the trolls would respond, "You don't have a business, you have a hobby. You need to have serious level equipment. What you're doing isn't anything." And I'd show them. So I would work 12 to 16 hours a day pretty regularly. I'd wake up, I'd work, I'd go to sleep. That's what a 16-hour workday looks like. You work the entire time you're awake. That was pretty typical because I did the Tuesday night market, the Wednesday night market, the Thursday night market, the Saturday morning market, and the Sunday morning market in Richmond. And all the times I wasn't doing the markets, I was making the chocolate. Chocolate making is a very involved process. But now, fast forward to 2022, last year, and I was able to reinvest some of the money I'd made into the business, bought slightly larger equipment, a little bit above hobbyist level, but something that would still not always trip the breakers in my house. Still happens about once a day. You got to run out and trip the thing. We just have to figure out which machines we can turn on at the same time. So I mean, you do what you can. So anyways, I hired my first market employees. You can see the pictures there of just some of the markets. Down there at the bottom left is my good friend Jamie at the Lynchburg Community Market. At the right there, that's my friend Cameron, and head chocolate maker at this point at the Charlottesville, no, that's the Epps Art Park Market. Top left there, that's me in the middle, and then 2 employees to the left and right. We're surrounded by a crowd of people all frenzying to come get some chocolate. And so we do Lynchburg, Richmond, Charlottesville City, Charlottesville, Epps. We do the Sunday one in Richmond, and I have different people manning all these ones because obviously I can't be in 5 places at the same time. And I also have 2 part-time employees right now on payroll that come in and make chocolate on a weekly basis. And we've really been growing. And so in 2022, we didn't quite make a profit, but it was crazy. I was shocked when I saw that I spent $90,000 on the business in 2022, but we just barely didn't make a profit. It was like a tiny little loss of $7,000, I think. And right now, speaking of money, let's look at this. This is the break-even calculation from the SBDC that I got from y'all. Really appreciate this thing. This has changed the way that I think about business, actually, and that's not an overstatement. This includes all of my personal costs, my rent, my utilities, my internet, insurance, and their direct costs are on there. Everything from every little envelope, sticker, I've got everything on here. Because me and the business are kind of tied together right now. The business lives with me, I live with it. A lot of people call me Willy Wonka. They say, you know, because I live in a chocolate factory. And so let's cut through some of the junk on here. So the most important thing to see is it takes us $7,900 of direct-to-customer sales at the farmer's market to reach the break-even point. Last month in April, we did about $12,000, so that's a pretty significantly profitable month. And then this month, or I should just talk about last weekend. Last weekend, we did about $2,400 just on Saturday and Sunday alone, which if you do the math on that, that leads us to making a profit this month as well, if that trend continues. And I'm projecting an increased sales of about 20 to 30% this year. However, I'm looking to accelerate those sales through wholesale. So particularly with wineries, and I've got a sales guy who's got 20 years of experience that I'm working with. I have a lady who gives wine tours who's wanting to partner with me on commission. I work with local CBD company. And so now we're expanding to these wineries, and the goal is in the next Well, for the rest of the year, I want to add about 20 to 50 wholesale accounts. And I know that I can do that because I've got the charisma to do it. I can go up there and I can just share. The thing is, I just share chocolate with people, and they usually like just come and say, hey, can you carry us? I got a call just this morning. I woke up, like my phone was ringing. I don't know who it was. And it was somebody saying like, hey, I convinced this person to carry your chocolate. Never talked to the guy in my life. So anyways, let's tie this thing up. I want to bring a bean-to-bar craft chocolate factory to Charlottesville. And I believe I'm the guy to do it because I'll do whatever it takes. And when it comes to talking to a real estate investor, et cetera, and they say, how do we know you can pay your rent? Well, if we make $0 at this location, then we can already pay the rent. And I think that's setting us up pretty good.
Thank you, Johnny.
You're welcome.
So just to reiterate, the ultimate vision for this business is to have a chocolate factory in this area?
That's right. And particularly if we continue to grow like other chocolate businesses, and I can get the right location, because it's all about location. If we get the wrong location, well, I won't go to the wrong location. I'm waiting for the right one. So if we get the right location, we can grow this to a 20 to 30 employee business.
Okay, thank you very much.
So it's my understanding you're still currently doing this out of your home?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay. In an apartment complex?
In a downstairs unit of a duplex, but it's a one-bedroom apartment, and we produce about 3,000 chocolate bars there a month.
Walking distance from the SBDC office.
Yeah, we've done tours, so if you want to come by, please come by.
So we've all tried the chocolate, and so the question is, like...
Hope you didn't hate it.
Oh, no, it's wonderful. If you had the right location, how fast do you think you'd be ready for something like this? Because I think we're all, could envision this kind of thing and would love to have it.
So again, comparing to the trend of other chocolate makers, what tends to happen is they get a great location, and by the time they're finished setting up, they're pretty much outgrowing it already. So getting to that 20 to 30 employee range, it should happen pretty quickly in a place like Charlottesville. We have to get the right location. It has to be a place where we have the proper foot traffic, where people can come in and see us. I've missed a few opportunities, unfortunately, with that, but I'm just keeping my eyes open, waiting for something to open up. And as long as I can keep it to about 10% of my gross sales, then that'll be worth it. So I'm not concerned about the amount of rent. I'm only concerned about how many customers will it bring me. And matter of fact, so it's interesting about the prize money in particular, because about a $10,000 investment in a new location allows me to buy enough equipment to take my current production, which is about 2 tons a year at its max capacity, to 8 tons a year at its max capacity. That's just through, it's complicated, but that's just through buying new melangers, because that's my only bottleneck at this point. I've built or bought other machines that keep me from having bottlenecks.
So in your samples, you put kind of the destinations. So there was like Hawaii and then Vietnam and Belgium. Mm-hmm. So I did taste the differences, but like, are those recipes authentic to like the beans you're using? Or tell me why I've got a trip around the world from your chocolate.
Right, so the reason you have a trip around the world with the chocolate is because we're importing the beans from different little small farms and collectives. So let's say the Vietnamese one there is from a co-op called Lam Dong in Vietnam. The Hawaii is from a little small farm owned by 2 people in Hawaii called Manea Kea. And they all have different genetics of the beans, different nutrients in the soil. And so everything that's on that plate there, except for the Monster Bar and the Venezuelan Chihuahua, are only 2 ingredients. They're 70% cacao beans and 30% cane sugar. So that difference that you taste, it's not a recipe, it's the nature of the beans in and of themselves, just like wine or coffee. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.